But talking about digital, pass that word to Carlos. We talk a lot nowadays about blockchain, about cryptocurrency, and now Facebook is launching Libra. Microchips are becoming cheaper and cheaper, that you can almost print them on goods. How is all this playing into the illicit trade? Do you see it positively? Is it helping, or is it helping the bad guys or the good guys?
Thank you, Alvise. As yesterday was said, technology can be used as a weapon or as a tool. You can destroy or you can construct. Just to give you a history on the technology, what we call now blockchain, and how it can really enhance the fight against illicit trade. The World Wide Web now, which is the invention that happens in Geneva, I was an expert at the United Nations when the web started in Geneva, and at that time was a lot of hope as we expected the web to solve a lot of problems. The web is now, you have a $10 trillion economy sitting on the top of the web. Companies like Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Google, all of them have been extraordinarily efficient in monetizing the World Wide Web and creating a lot of wealth. But they have been extraordinarily inefficient in one specific thing, which is digital identity. The web is blind. The web doesn't know what it's doing. So you can obviously transfer good things on the web, but you can also transfer very bad things. So what has happened is that illicit trade, and not only illicit trade, but also issues related to the underground economy, are using the web in an extraordinarily efficient way to do bad things. So, and the reason is that the people that they are trying, and there has been some very good companies, LVMH, and we have been helping many companies in WISeKey to improve their defense system. These companies are working in silos. And when you are dealing with a $2.4 trillion problem, which is the illicit trade problem, you cannot work in silos. So you have to build platforms. And the platform is something that stakeholders can, through one entry point, access endless amount of data, which is not the case now. If a government or a private sector company wants to investigate illicit trade issues, where do they go? They go to a database. Those databases are not available to them. They have to negotiate credentials to access the database. So this has been extraordinarily inefficient. That's why Interpol and many of the police organizations around the world are totally in a situation of the need to centralize data. But data is very difficult to centralize because there are commercial issues on data, ownership, intellectual property issues. So in the last 5 years, a new technology has arrived with the name blockchain, which could be the beginning of solving the problem. Although I always say, and I have been working on blockchain from the beginning, blockchain is only one of the components, not the only one. But we are creating in security and cybersecurity and technology a convergence historic point where what we call deep technologies are converging. So you have artificial intelligence, you have blockchain, you have digital identity, you have Internet of Things, IoT. All of these technologies are now talking to each other. And this is creating an unprecedented power to solve critical problems that we didn't have the tools before to solve. So in the cases of objects, my company, and I was in the UN before, then I left, I created a company because I really wanted to solve the problem, not only talk about the problem. We already secured 1.2 billion objects. So those are watches in Switzerland, and they are now traced with a microchip that you are putting inside the watches. Those are wines, those are perfumes, that is food products, because the traceability of a product cannot be established if you don't have a digital identity. Then the digital identity, which is embedded into the product, like Alvise said, by a microchip, is also available in a blockchain ledger. So for you to understand, if you don't understand, or you are not being confronted to blockchain technology, the beauty of blockchain is that decentralized data. You don't have to have the data in one place. So if a digital identity of my object, let's say a watch of LVMH, is traced at the object level, it's also available. The digital twin of that product is also available on a ledger. And then that ledger is available to anyone to see. So nobody can stop you to access the ledger. So let's say that a watch has a chip, and that chip is in the ledger. When a person walks into a customs, custom can detect that the product is fake or has been falsified because the identity of the product is not being embedded. So this is creating a very interesting proposition. it is a great advantage also for brands, and if brands do not cooperate in this, this will never happen, is that brands are also able now to know where their objects are and who owns those objects. The ownership of the object has a very big advantage for the brand because brands do not know their customers anymore. In our days, many brands, with the exception maybe of LVMH that has a very strong digital strategy, they will need to go to somebody like Facebook or somebody like Amazon to know who their clients are because the client is registered with Facebook and not the platform. So that creates an advantage because not at the same time you are protecting your product, you are creating a KYC, know your customer facility that allow brands to re-engage back again with customers. Now, then you have the Libras of the world. I personally, Libra is in Geneva. I am in Geneva. I am very much involved with the team there, and they are trying to understand how Libra can expand out of Geneva. Libra has good things and bad things. It has an amazing thing, which is they are creating a digital currency, which could become dominant because they have 2.5 billion active users. The other thing, if Libra do not apply the financial regulation principles of KYC, it could also be used to basically move money illegally on the internet. So putting KYC compliance in projects like Libra on cryptocurrency is a must to have. Otherwise, goods that they are, technologies that they are developed with the intention to do good end up by doing bad. I mean, one example is the dark web. The dark web now has moved $1 trillion economy. The dark web was originally designed by intelligence services, and they want to enter into the underworld and see where bad things were happening there. It was actually absorbed, used, and manipulated by the underworld to do basically their own digital ecosystem. So good news is a lot of technologies are there. The bad news that we need conferences like this and international multi-stakeholder approach to use those technologies in a way that satisfy regulatory requirements worldwide.